You're watching DevSecOps, the good, the bad, the ugly. Today, I'm very excited to have Linda with me. Linda, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, Linda McKenna. I am a director of learning and development at Comcast, and I've been in education, either learning or teaching, I think, my whole life, practically, and always in technology.
That's great. And that was one of the reasons why I reached out to you, because almost every interview that I've been doing, everyone's talking about education, right? And how do we break the silos between the groups and get people together to learn, collaborate in order to grow in that transformation. So I appreciate you being willing to come on. And that really brings up the first question that I was hoping you could talk about is how can we use education to empower developers?
That's a great question. So, I think about this in terms of how we used to do training in classrooms. And then if you really wanted to do self-training, all you had was documentation. And then through all of the technology that we use now to deliver training, we've been able to move into many different areas. I mean, things like peer-to-peer training, which are more popular nowadays. Mm-hmm. Just when you have the experts teach others what it is that they're doing in terms of their use cases, I think it's much more relevant than just taking them to a classroom and then expecting them to walk out with that knowledge and turn it into something that's that they can do on the job. Right. Using a use case is much easier, I think, for them to relate to, and it's something that they can say, oh, well, I have something that's similar to that, and then I can use this. And then they have that conversation that they've built with this expert now to really lead them through things. So I think it's a much better way to deliver training in our newer environments.
And Linda, off the cuff, I'm here. Just what types of I guess programs would you are there that people could use to implement?
Well, programs in terms of things out there are, there's e-learning, tons of e-learning that you could get either off of LinkedIn Learning or other different types of platforms like Pluralsight. There's technical learning, things that, if you already know how to program and you need to learn a new language, probably a good place to go. Right. And say, I need to learn Python and let me go pick up a couple of things there. But if you really want to do something and you have a goal in mind to do it, then there's probably a few things that you need to look at. Somebody came to me recently and said, I need some professional development. Well, that's general. What are you looking to do? Do you want to move into people management? Are you looking to move into like more intense program management? What is it that you're looking for? And then, there's actually a lot of the different companies, vendors have training that's already developed, like Harvard Management or has a program that's all set up with a bunch of e-learning classes. And then you talk to other people who've done it, right? Mm-hmm. So you develop those networks of people who've done it.
Yeah, that's great. And as you're aware, right, the topic for this video cast is DevSecOps or DevOps, yeah. Right, and putting security controls in place. And as leaders look to, and you mentioned to me before, right, it's really cultural change that needs to take place. Yeah. How can you use education as an executive or a leader to leverage that change?
I think in cultural changes, it's a matter of process, being change management and education, right? So all of those pieces together, people have to understand that they need to do things differently. When you add security and build it in. The whole idea reminds me of the time when I worked in a company that needed to transform. And I know this is going way back into object-oriented technology, which was brand new at the time, right? So, moving from what they were already doing into this new technology, setting up an entire program around that, with boot camp, use case analysis, all these other kinds of things, C++ and different types of things that were put together in a collection of learning. But in between all of those classes, they had a mentor who helped them apply those learnings to the applications that they were building. So that was very helpful. Today, I think we can use things like a Slack channel to ask those questions. And you've got a bunch of mentors out there who can help you.
Right.
So building something like that, I think works well, and it's interactive and it's there when you need it.
That's great. And this is another off the cuff question, Linda. I was just thinking, because you work in the education department, right? As those in the technology departments, how can they leverage their education departments, right, and the resources there?
So yeah, we build access for folks to come and see what we have. We have a full calendar at Comcast for our technologists to look at in all of these peer-to-peer learnings that are scheduled, and even things that the education department itself doesn't schedule. There's a series of speakers, lunchtime speakers. So they've taken the lunch and learns online to webinars. And you can do some in person, or if you're remote, you can do it on a webinar and learn from these different speakers.
Yeah, it just seems to me like it would be such an importance to collaborate with the education team and what you guys are doing, all right, to do that.
Absolutely, yes. And one of the collaboration programs that we have in place is the one that I run. Comcast Labs Connect is a public program for our technical community, bringing technologists together from all environments and learning from those experiences has really been great. It's been running for 4 years, and we've really had some great success in the top technology topics that we've used.
That's awesome. Thanks, Linda. So I guess the last topic, which everyone's dealing with today, is working from home, right? With everything that's been going on in the world. What are some things that you would suggest organizations can do? Maybe if they don't have a big education department that can help them, what would you recommend to some of those managers out there?
Well, very similar to the program that I just mentioned, we've had to take, and I've talked to other companies and nonprofit organizations who are doing exactly the same thing that we're doing. We're taking the next conference that we have online, right? Yep. So we usually do it in person, which is really a great experience for everybody who gets together in the local and regional community. Now that we take it online, we can expand it. Yep. And the other companies are doing that, and I've talked with other leaders of companies in their programs that are taking these things online now. So that's a pivot that you need to do, and I think just sharing throughout everything where people are working remotely, just pivoting a lot of the things that you typically do in person online, right, is the way to do it.
Yep. That's great. Well, thanks so much for coming on here, Linda, and being willing to help us learn a little bit more about education.
Well, thank you, Zach. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise. Thanks.
Take care.